Do have some breaking news. Alex Crook, of course, talkSPORT's transfer guru, will be joining us to tell us some breaking news.
talkSPORT breaking news.
Alex, how are you?
Good evening. Sorry to gate crash your show, guys, but this is not transfer-related news. It's managerial news. Quite exciting, I think. Roy Hodgson, we understand, is the hot favourite to be named the new manager of Watford. Of course, they parted company with Claudio Ranieri earlier today, and we know Watford like to have their new manager lined up before they part company with the former. There's still work to be done on this deal, but talkSPORT sources are indicating that Roy Hodgson, the veteran former England manager, former Liverpool, former Crystal Palace, amongst countless others, could be named the new Watford manager as early as tomorrow. He's excited about the squad that he will inherit. He believes they have enough firepower to stay up, and I think if you go back to when he left Crystal Palace at the end of last season, there was a glint in his eye. He was suggesting that this wasn't retirement, this is one last hurrah as far as Roy Hodgson is concerned to try and keep Watford in the Premier League. There is a link between his assistant Ray Lewington, who I'm sure will be going in with him. He was a former Watford manager, and actually if you go back to the early 2000s, Roy Hodgson actually worked for the Pozzo family who own Watford at Udinese, so maybe not as big a curveball as it first seems. But that's the information we're getting this evening. Roy Hodgson, there's been a flurry of bets as well. He was 5-1 at one stage, came into 1-5. That's because we understand Roy Hodgson will be the new manager of Watford.
Do you think, Crookie, that Watford fans will be excited about this prospect? He's 74 years old. Now, I'm not going to be ageist here, right? But you know,
you are a bit.
Okay, yeah, I am. But football is a young man's game, right? As most things in life are, right? That's just the way things are. I just wonder if if the Watford fans want a new and exciting manager that's gonna, not just keep them up, but just there for the long term, maybe 3-4 years. I'm guessing this appointment, if it is going to happen, is just for the remainder of the season, and they're back to square one, right?
Well, presumably that's part of the negotiating process, and there'll be the talks that will be going on as we speak. I've just been sent a text message, actually, by somebody who's worked very closely with Roy Hodgson in the past. I won't name names, but he says simply, I'm really pleased for Roy. He'll definitely keep them up. I think he's held in incredibly high regard by anybody who's played under him. I know our own Danny Murphy is always speaking in glowing terms about Roy Hodgson and what he achieved at Fulham, by young coaches who've learnt their trade under Roy Hodgson. This is someone who's managed not just in the Premier League, he's managed at international level, not just with England even. He was, of course, manager of Switzerland at one stage. He's managed in Italy. He's adored in Sweden as well. So I think they should be excited. I think, they've been excited, Watford fans, in the past when managers unknown on these shores have taken over the club. That hasn't always worked out. I think if you look at the situation that Roy inherited at Crystal Palace, he took over from De Boer when they were in dire straits, kept them in the Premier League. So he's a proven firefighter. It's not a typical Watford appointment. They don't usually go down that road, but clearly they feel their situation is fairly desperate this time around. We saw that with the performance against Norwich on Friday night. They're in a relegation battle, and they believe that Roy Hodgson is the man to take them out of that relegation battle. What happens at the end of the season, I guess, will depend on how many wins that he can pick up in the final 18 matches of the campaign.
Crookie, always a pleasure. Thanks for coming on and breaking that news for us.
Cheers, guys.
There you go. The wonderful Alex breaking the news that talkSPORT understands Roy Hodgson will be the next manager of Watford. What do you make of that, Joe?
I think it's a smart appointment. I do.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
I don't think Watford fans would be delighted.
Well, they
with that.
should be.
Why?
Because it gives them hope. If you're looking now, if you're a Newcastle fan, you're a Norwich fan, you're looking at someone who's an experienced campaigner who knows how to keep teams up. Look what he did at Palace was quite remarkable, keeping them up in the league in the way that he did. All right, now look at Vieira. Vieira's doing it in a different way, and I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, but you say that the football that Palace are playing now under Vieira, in the very short time he's been there, it totally eclipses any of the football that Roy Hodgson was playing.
Yeah, and Roy Hodgson is a pragmatic, safe coach. That's who he is. That's in his DNA. Ask Liverpool fans, ask England fans. That's who he is. But it ain't about that this season. It's about staying up. It's about getting a better tune out of this.
I don't know if he's the man to keep him up.
Well, right now they're second bottom. Yeah. Right. So it's.
But they're 2 points off.
But there's this desperate measures, right? I think Roy Hodgson is a safe pair of hands, incredibly experienced, knows the Premier League, has dealt at this end of the table, has been involved in relegation battles. He ticks a lot of boxes. Look, honestly, Watford fans, they think they're going to see open, attractive, attacking football. They're not going to see that. What they are going to see is a side that's well organised, difficult to beat, difficult to score against, and will be scraping for wins at the bottom of the table. And that's, right now, the best you can hope for.
All right, Watford fans, you can react before anyone else on the planet. You just heard it there. talkSPORT understands that your new gaffer is going to be Roy Hodgson. That news should be confirmed tomorrow. You can have your say on it tonight simply by picking up the phone. And, of course, we'll take calls from Spurs and Chelsea fans as well. Lots to talk about. One number to dial. Get involved. Pick up the phone now. 03717 223344. We'll take your calls right after this on talkSPORT on the Sports Bar.